Welcome to Expand, Dominate, and Profit. I am your host, Aaron Ryan, and today I have a guest that I am excited about. He is one of the biggest agents in the country. The guy has a mega team doing 870 transactions in the little town of Fargo, North Dakota. And if that isn't enough, this guy also has one of the best coaching programs in the nation, Hatch Coaching. Welcome, Erik Hatch.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Glad to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Pretty pumped.
That's awesome. Well, Erik, we are excited to have you, man. So let's kick this thing off. Anybody who hasn't heard of you or hasn't been to Fargo, North Dakota and seen who the man is, tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, getting into real estate.
So the most important thing is I'm proud to be an amazing husband. I hope. I don't know if my wife would call me that, but I'm married to a great lady. Her name's Emily. I'm a great salesman because she's way prettier than I am, and she is not as shallow as me. So it's really a good mix.
It's a good synergy.
I have two kids. Oh my gosh. I have two kids, ages 6 and 4, Finley and Simon. These are the best ages, by the way. Ages 6 and 4 are just so much fun because my kids still think that I'm funny and cool, and we get to just play and laugh and have fun all the day. And I worked really hard for a long time, killing myself in this business, Aaron. I was working 90 to 100 hours a week for a long time to build this. See, and then when my daughter was born back in 2014, I'm like, yep, that's it. I'm done with being in production. So I've been out of production for over 6 years now. Previous to this, I was in ministry. I was a worship leader and a youth minister at a church for almost a decade. And my wife and I couldn't get pregnant. We tried the old fashioned way. That didn't work. We tried the medical route. That didn't work. And then we ran out of insurance. And the only way I could be a dad was if I funded that lifestyle. And so I knew that real estate could be this vehicle for me to make cash to have the family that I so desperately wanted and dreamed of. So I jumped into real estate to try to make cash. I had no idea what a crazy ride it would be. And so I jumped in full time in 2011. My first year in the business, I sold 52 houses, had an awesome first year. And then I did what everybody does. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I had a lot of momentum behind me of just some great relationships that I had developed in the ministry over the previous decade. And I had lived in Fargo my whole life. And so I knew a lot of people. And I spent $0 on marketing my first year. I hired an admin who was part-time like midway through, but otherwise I was just a dumpster fire trying to figure out my way. And yeah. And so 52 houses. And
I don't know many people who can say they sold 52 houses, let alone in their first year, with a zero marketing budget. That's insane.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it was the only thing that I knew, and it was the only way that I knew how to hustle. Was like I had a why that was much bigger than me, and I wanted to make a difference in this world, and I wanted to have a family, and so I was fueled by some really good stuff. And I used to be with Keller Williams, similar to you, and KW talks about building a team as kind of your next step. And so I said, I guess I'm going to build a team. And in 2013, I started a real estate team, and the year finished, and I had a lot of success, but nobody else on my team had a lot of success. Like, we sold 192 houses that first year of being a team, but I was 113 of those sales. So imagine how poor I was as a leader and a manager and equipping other people for success. They were just picking up my crumbs, right? Like I didn't take any intentional time to build their worlds. And sure enough, my ego got the best of me. I was making a ton of mistakes, creating a lot of noise. And in early 2013, I got kicked out. The youth minister, worship pastor, brown-nosing, suck-up kid got kicked out because I had just gotten away from myself. I was working so hard and so much, but it was all for me, and it wasn't for anybody else. And so, Aaron, I had a chance to start over. I went to a rebound girlfriend brokerage, and of my team of 13, I invited everybody along, and only 2 people came with me. I started over in 2013, having climbed up and then crashed down. In the midst of this, my wife has 3 miscarriages. over this like 3-year period. And like emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, I was damaged goods, man. Just in such
Wow.
a tough spot. And by the grace of God, I started over and 2 people stood by my side, and I ate more humble pie in 2014 or 2013 than I've ever eaten before. In 2014, I open up our brokerage. We get started. We all of a sudden we sell 411 houses that year, and we just kept climbing and kept climbing. And I said, I can't. I sold in 2014 before my daughter was born. Our team sold 411 houses. I was 149 of those. So
That's
when
good
I say that
progress.
I was working, yeah, when I was working 90 to 110 hours a week. And I recognize like I can't get there on pure hustle. I have to get there on making the right strategic moves. And so I figured out who I needed to be as a leader and who strategically I needed to be as a businessman. And there's a great book out right now called Who Not How. And it talks about how the answers to your problems, the things that you're looking for will be solved with the right who. We try to figure out the how of it. And you and I talked offline about the ISA model and things that are really great to grow our ecosystems. None of those matter if we have the wrong who's in those. And
Right.
so I haven't mastered, but I've been a very, very passionate student about leadership and about developing the right who's in my world. And now I have 20 or so companies that I have the fortune of owning and running. And I'm having more fun than I've ever had. And I'm working 40 or 50 hours a week. It is
Isn't
the
it
sweet spot right now, buddy.
isn't it crazy how, once you get past a certain point in your career, the people who you work with matter the most. I was like you, man. I was 90% of the production of my office when I was at KW. I was the guy who, out of the 200 transactions we did, I probably did 170 of them. And, I wasn't making anybody better. My ego was insane, just like a lot of people do once they get a little
Yeah.
bit of success. And I didn't really care. And, and I realized that for me to be able to build our business and have a life and just be a normal person again, I had to surround myself with really good, caring, honest people and just get back to being a good person. And it's a tough lesson to learn, man. And I commend you for doing the right things too, man, because it's not easy to go from being the king of the world one day and then being told, hey, get out, and you're starting over. I mean, that's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, I didn't think my crap stunk, and it turns out that everybody else was smelling stinky crap, and I was just naive to it.
Right.
And so being given the gift of starting over sure didn't feel like a gift at the time, but holy cow. I think a lot of us look back on our lives and like, if I could do it different, if I could start all over again, I'd do this different. I got to do that. I got to learn from my mistakes like that. And I
Right.
had to pivot and shift quickly. And that was so scary and unnerving because I knew all the things I was doing wrong, but I still didn't have clarity on the vision of who I needed to be. And
Right.
fortunately, I figured it out. And I need to be a leadership guy, and I need to be a guy that has a savvy to him, not of being a great salesperson, but of seeing opportunities and being unafraid of taking the jump. Because when
Right.
you have the right who's, even if you take the wrong jump, they're still going to support you.
Right. Absolutely. So are you independent now, or are you
I
at
am.
a
Yeah.
brokerage?
Yeah. Opened up my own brokerage. We're really a teamerage, and so within our brokerage, it's just our team. But we've changed our system now, and we found a great way to keep unbelievable agents in our ecosystem. And that
Wow.
is we have a continued modified career path. And so we adopted the philosophy very early on that everything is earned and nothing is given. Prior to me getting into real estate full time, I did it part time. I was full time in the ministry in the early 2000s, but I was selling real estate part time on the side, and I was on a team. I was a buyer agent, and so 2009 and 2010, before I went in full time, I was a buyer agent, and all of a sudden, I had sold like 24 houses in a year. And
Wow.
I asked the owners because I had brought like 70% of that business, 75% of that business from my own sphere, and I asked them. I said, "Hey, can I start working listings, or can I get a better split?" And they just said, "No, that's not how we're built." And the moment they said no, I recognized that I had a glass ceiling there and I had limited capacity. That if I didn't take, if they would have said to me, yes, Eric, we'll find a way, you can earn your spot, I would have stayed with them to this day because I'm
Wow.
fiercely loyal and I have no problem. If I can have my cake and eat it too, why do I need to go and take on all the risk? And
Right.
so the lesson that I learned early on, I took and shifted into my own business building philosophy. And as an example, here's what happened. I had an agent back in like 2015 come to me. He had done probably 15 sphere deals in the year, right? We as a
That's a
company
good
provided a
amount.
lot, but he had, isn't it though? And he's like,
Right.
hey, can I get a higher split on my sphere? And I said, I didn't say no, because if I said no, I was giving him that glass ceiling. And I adopted the phrase, yes, when. So to this man, Brandon, I said, yes, Brandon, you can have a higher split when. And then together we created the when. We put the carrot out there that was so dangled that if we got there, we were living in abundance that we didn't have before. And so I said,
Right.
Brandon, if you can do 20 sphere deals in a year, and in my head, I'm like, there's no way he can do 20 sphere deals. I'll increase, because my profit margin for my team is about 20%, right? I'm in the business 2 days a week, and I give 20% of my profit to profit share back to my team, and I give 20% of our profits to the community. And so I live on 60 cents on the dollar, and that 60 cents on the dollar after I pay my salary and everything else is about 20% profit.
Right.
And so I told him, Brandon, I don't need to make another dime off of you on your sphere if you do 20 deals. I've made enough. I'm going to give you that extra 20% on deal 21 and beyond for that year. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to get there. There's just no way. Aaron, I had 10 agents get there this year, and they did over
Wow.
20 sphere deals, including 2 agents. One did 50 and one did 70 from their sphere. And I pay them my profit on that extra stuff, right? They still stay in my world. They bring all this value, all this extra support. I had one guy that did 100 transactions, one guy that did 140 transactions this year. And our worlds get better because they can still have their cake and eat it too. And I get to benefit from them and them from me. Now, I'm out
That's
that
incredible.
20% profit on those extra deals, but wouldn't you rather keep an A player in your world when you give them extra instead of just saying, well, you're expendable, I'll go find another agent to do it? I don't want that world for myself, Aaron. It's not who
Absolutely.
I'm made to be.
Right, right. No, absolutely. And a lot of people, it's funny because I've seen a lot of teams come and go, and I mean I worked in an office where there were tons of teams, and agents aren't number one. I mean, getting a top producer is not that easy, right? I mean, that's the game that we're in, is getting really good agents and getting them to stay within the organization. Um, so I get it. I get you have to be able to show them more. In that vein, let me ask you this: do you have any kind of career pathing in your real estate company? One thing that we've done in ours, is we have agents, we have sales managers, we have directors of sales, we have inside sales managers, we have different levels that people can progress to in their career pathing. Anything like that in your organization that you're talking to your agents about?
Yeah, great question. So taking the philosophy of everything is earned and nothing is given, in our world, you either start off as an agent on a very low commission or you start off as a showing partner. And the showing partner is a salaried position in our world. And so that all of a sudden opens up the talent pool for a lot more people. If you're a bartender or you work retail and you don't have a job, well, you can get into real estate and have big capacity when you earn your spot, right? If,
Right.
if, if you have people that are high producers and you bring another mouth at that table who hasn't earned their spot, it's met with a lot of resentment and a lot of anger. And so we've created a system where everything is earned. Everybody earns their starting role to get leads from my ISAs and to get that kind of prowess. Once they earn that spot, the next step for them is to earn the right to work listings. They all start on the buy side. You have to earn the right to work listings. That's the next step. After that, you can earn the right to either go elite. Our elite agent role is like you're only working your sphere. You're on a 70-30 split with a company, but you only work your sphere. We're still going to take care of all your admin work. And then the other option is you can start a team. And we have now
Oh,
teams within our teams, many microsystems. Because Aaron, go back to when you started your business. When
right.
you were 2, 3, 4, 5 people, wasn't that the most powerful punch that you've had?
Right. Absolutely.
Like cohesive and trustworthy and connected, and everybody felt one another's breath, both with the fire that they have and the trust that is built. And so
Right.
we've taken that model. There's a rule that you can Google. It's called the rule of threes and tens. And so let's
Okay.
say you're one person. When you go from 1 to 3 people, your whole ecosystem changes. When you go from 3 to 10, and maybe it's 9 or 11, but when you go from 3 to
Right.
10, your whole ecosystem changes. Same at 30 and 100 and 300 and 1,000. And so right now, if your team is a team of 40 people, you need to be a leader of at least 100 people in order to grow. And what
Right.
we say is that we think that the sweet spot is that 3-person team or so, give or take a couple of people, because it's so intimate and connected. And now we're allowing our agents to live in that spot, meaning they'll have, if you're one of my lead agents that's climbed the ladder, you're now having the chance to work listings and buys. You have a very robust sphere business that you've brought forward. You're getting massive ISA deals, and we're not going to bring the new mouth to the table to compete with you. We're going to bring that person under you. So our new agents are coming under you. You are their mentor. You are their guide. You're getting a commission cut on all the deals that they do, and you're helping them to succeed. Similar to if you work, say, in wealth management, right? If you're in
Right.
wealth management, you have somebody who comes under you, and you get a rip. If you're that leader, you get a rip on every single deal that they do for forever. And now
Right.
that person's more vested in the company. They're going to stick around for longer, and they're going to have other people's success as their new motivation instead of just their own. So we're taking what I messed up with 6 years ago when I started over, that idea that you need to lead others in order to find the maximum success. And we're doing that intricately within our team.
Let me ask you, because this is the first time I've heard of that model. To be honest with you, the first time I've heard of it, and I think it's awesome. So, new agent reaches so many transactions or so many deals, then they can become a team leader. Is that how that works?
So we call our new agents that aren't showing partners, if they're on just commission, we call them team agents. So they're
Okay.
on many teams. Okay. They have to do at least 20 sphere deals. We use our sphere because we want people to be able to stand on their own without us. In our world, people will say all the time, like, aren't you afraid that Tyler's going to leave because Tyler does 70 sphere deals? Like, haven't you trained him incorrectly? Don't you want him more reliant on the company? And I said, I'm more afraid if I don't train Tyler and he stays. That's my bigger fear. And so I want
Right.
Tyler to have the best life that he possibly can. And so he's got there and he's climbed up. And now he's pivoting his energy because the pain of doing 140 deals.
Right.
It is exhausting to the core. And so now Tyler is leading Gwen. Gwen's one of our new agents. Gwen's coming in, and Tyler has earned the right to get those ISA deals. And
Okay.
he's taking those and helping Gwen to win on those ISA deals.
Right.
Gwen will do those deals handed by Tyler, and then she has to do at least 20 sphere deals in her career in order to graduate from that team agent role. Then she can move into a regular buyer agent role. Then she can graduate from there and move into a buyer and listing agent. Then she can graduate from there and lead a team, because our team leads usually will only work their sphere, and then they're taking their showing partner, and their showing partner is actually doing almost all the work for their sphere. So they're a listing agent for some homes. Their sphere is getting worked by their showing partner, and then all their ISA leads on the buy side are getting worked by their team agents. And these
Wow.
team agents, the Gwens down there, the Gwens have more time and attention. Because here's one of the lessons I learned last year, Aaron, because we just created this in the last 12 months. And this is the first time I've shared this publicly, by the way. I get a chance to
Okay.
do a number of podcasts. This is the first time I've really talked about it because I have confidence in it now, because I'm seeing the fruits start to show up.
Love it.
Um, we took and we studied the number of leads, the number of appointments that our agents got. Our agents, of course, work their sphere, but then they get ISA appointments. 3 agents, all on the buy side, one got 80 appointments in a year. Okay, he was our new agent, and so had no old company leads that he had been working for previous years. He had 80 leads, 80 appointments handed by the ISAs. Agent number 2 had about 110 handed by the ISA. He had been with us for a couple of years, and he had old ISA appointments from previous years that were in his ecosystem. Our top agent got 140 appointments from the company. He had earned it. He had done so much, and all 3 of them at the end of the year closed the same number of transactions from the company. The same.
Wow.
They each did 35 deals, like within 1 or 2 deals of each other. But the agent that had less appointments and they focused on them more actually converted at a much higher level. So how do we take that gap and that chasm between taking a new agent and giving those all their focus? We know that that's where we make the most money, but now we have these really amazing agents who have built up this massive sphere and 500 past clients that they're working in our ecosystem. And how do we keep them around?
Right.
Because I can't say to that agent, sorry, you're not going to get 140 appointments next year. You're only going to get 80 because you're going to convert the same.
Right.
I can't, because if I do, they're gone. If I take away things, they'll be gone. And so we said, how do we bring you leverage? How do we buy back more time, convert at a higher level so the company's making a better company dollar? And so we bring these team agents in so that now that agent that got 140 appointments, they have 3 agents on their team working that instead of them being the only one.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense, because we've experienced the same thing. With agents who have fewer appointments, or when they first come to the team, they're converting at a much higher level compared to the guy who's been here 6 years. And that, I mean,
and the guy who's been here 6 years, though, you don't want to lose. And so you've created an enabled behavior unintentionally. I've identified that system as destructive abundance, that we've overfed, we've overgiven, we've created a little less attention onto that, not because they're ill-intended, simply because they're overfed.
Right. Yeah.
And so we've had to reel it back in. Yep.
Right. They have that on to the next one mentality, I've discovered, at least in my business. It's, when they get too many opportunities or they have too many leads, it's just, they're not fighting as hard. So that's interesting to hear that, especially from a guy with your success. I think that's great. So you guys did 870 last year. You were telling me earlier, you think you'll get in that 1200 range this next year if you guys hit all your goals?
Yeah. I think our goals have us slated. If we do hit them all, we'll be 1300 based on the number of people. So here's one of the things that I've studied. And I coach and get a chance to mentor a lot of real estate teams. And there's a rule that I've adopted, and it's the rule of 20-1. For every one person that's on your team, no matter the position that they hold, after 6 months of them being on the team, because there's the 6-month ramp up period, right?
Right.
You should expect about a 20-1 return, 20 transactions for every one person. Now, my average price point in Fargo is $235. If you're in Portland and your average sales price is twice that, you're not going to be 20-1. You're going to be more like 15-1, right? You're not going to need to have as many transactions to make a great living. But I've studied it. And so our team will be 870 transactions this year. And we're going to do that with about 43 people.
That's great.
Okay? So 43 people times 20 is 860. So we are in stride with where we need to be.
Okay.
I also know that my budget, my spend, my lead acquisition costs, all that, it all matters in trying to factor out how do I get to 1,200 next year, which is our goal. In 2021, I'm confident we're going to get to 1,200 transactions. Now that means I need to have at least 60 people in my ecosystem. 20 transactions times 60 people, no matter the hat or the seat that they're wearing, or the hat that they're wearing or the seat that they're in, I need to have at least 60 people on my team in order to get there. And so we've been on a massive drive to hire, but it's not to hire just to get bodies there. We are hiring with massive precision and accuracy. And come January 1st, we're going to be a team of about 53 or 54 people. on our way to get to that 60. Because I know if I have 60 people and if I have my spend in the right spot, it's now a science. Hiring is an art, but the numbers of it are a science. And for me, 20-1 is my ratio. So I know that I can, for every one person that I hire, I should get 20 more transactions on my bottom line. But remember, they have a 6-month vesting period before they actually will start to cash out anything.
Right, right. So running a team at a high level, I ask anybody who's on the podcast, I ask them this question. Everybody wants to know how we're doing these numbers, where we get in this business, you know, what's the best, you know, use of the dollar when it comes to generating a lead, right? So why don't you give the listeners your top 3 areas as far as, you know, lead gen, but also profitability, right? What are your top 3 pillars of lead generation right now?
I love that you named 3 because I have 3 buckets that I am emphatic. These are the only buckets that exist.
Right.
So the first bucket is PCSOI, past client and sphere of influence. We will do 55 to 60% of our business from this bucket.
Wow.
And our agents are incentivized and motivated to continue to massage this. Aaron, we have 5,000 past clients as of right now. In the last decade, we've accumulated 5,000 past clients. And the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book says that anybody who is in your like inner Mets, whether it be past clients or your sphere, you should get a 12 and 2 return. So for every 2 people that are in there, you should be able, or for every 12 people that are in there, you should be able to get 2 transactions.
Right.
The reason why they don't dumb that down and go 6-1 is because they say for 12 people, one of them should give you a piece of their business and one should refer you.
Right.
And so that means you should be able to get a 16.67% return on that investment. Like a 16.67% chance that one of those people in your database, your past clients, should do business with you or refer you.
Right.
So if I have 5,000 past clients and I multiply that by 16.7%, that's 835 transactions that I should be able to milk out of my past clients. Now,
what are you doing?
We don't get that much out of our past clients. Yeah.
Okay.
Client events are like, we're not at 835. We're probably at 300 or 400. And then we of course have our personal relationships with people that have never bought with us before and now they're buying. And so we have more than 5,000 people in our database that are our close connections when we think of a team of 50 people and all those relationships. So what are we doing? Client events are a great thing. You know, we just finished up our Pie Day where we hand out Thanksgiving pies. And here's what you have to understand is that the beauty of a client event is not the actual giveaway or the event. The beauty of a client event, when Pie Day happens, if you're my client, Aaron, I'm going to call, text, email, Facebook message, Snapchat, and everything else to you 3 weeks before the event, 2.5 weeks before the event, 2 weeks before the event, and 1.5 weeks, 1 week, and a few days before the event. You're going to hear from me 2 to 7 times as touches to say, I see you, you matter. But what we can't do, and here's the mistake that I've made and that so many others make, is that you transactionalize an invite. If we gave away 1,765 pies, we had to invite 10,000 people 5 times each. That's 50,000 invitations to give away that many pies. And each one of those should be customized. I can copy the message in the body, but the first thing should be like, Aaron, dude, I haven't chatted with you for a while. How's Portland? I hear that you're moving, right? And then I can copy the body in there, but it needs to be a one-on-one connection because we transactionalize our past clients all the time, and that's why we lose them. We either forget about them completely or you just treat them as a number and you put them as a cog in the wheel. And so if you're going to do anything for your past clients, the beauty is not in the client event, it's in the extra touches so long as they're customized. So we're just finding lots of layers to do customized touches with our past clients, and we put a major emphasis on that in our business more than anything else.
That's a huge lesson right there.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been a painful lesson for me to learn because I've lost a lot of money by not doing that, and I burned a lot of relationships by transactionalizing it, by just hitting copy and paste or allowing my CRM to spam them all.
Right.
The second, so we said three buckets, three ways
Three
to lead
buckets.
generate. The second is low hanging fruit. That's Zillow, Realtor.com, radio, home light leads. I am trying to get myself off of that every day. And it is, I'm trying to spend less and less. It just sucks you in, dude. And if
Right.
you want to have a business that's going to stand on its own, it cannot be reliant on those low hanging fruit things because they are super expensive. We are not in control of that. And the more you can put control of your database is the only way that you're going to win against tech.
Right.
I'll say this,
I
Aaron. I don't think Zillow is the enemy. I think Zillow is the capitalist that's going where the consumer wants. They're
right.
just getting there faster than we are. And so we need to pivot and we need to do a better job of understanding the needs, wants, and desires of our clients and getting there. And because relationships will win so long as you can still bring the same value as what a Zillow can. And right
Right.
now we're playing a different game and that's why we're losing.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's funny because the low hanging fruit will bleed you to death. I actually just for the first time in a decade finally weaned myself off radio and got out of it.
Oh,
I mean, I've watched, I don't know if you've seen it in your business, but I've watched the profitability, the number of calls, the response get sucked out of talk radio. And I finally was able I finally reached below. I'm pretty strict and disciplined with profitability. Once it reached, past my point of return, I cut it. I was done. The endorsement, everything. And I got out, man. It felt good, to be honest with you.
yeah.
But I'm still addicted to the other one.
I've coached some teams that have like 70 or 80% of their business that relies on low hanging fruit. And it's simply irresponsible because there's no predictability for tomorrow. And it's a really painful move.
Right.
The third bucket is long-term nurtures. And that's where you're winning as an ISA guru. That's where we're taking our purchased business and now retargeting it and staying on top of them and the right messaging plans, the right texting, the right artificial intelligence. People often will say that, and I'll go to MREA again, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Right.
It says that you should have a conversion rate of 1 in 50 on your have not mets, your pay-per-click leads, a 2% conversion rate on pay-per-click leads. Dude, we're doing between 4 and 5%. It takes
awesome.
3 years. Takes 3 years to capitalize on some of that stuff. We took the time in which the lead comes in until closing, and we studied those numbers. In our world, a Zillow lead will close in 180 days from the time in which they raise their hand until they close. 180 days. And by the way, the median on that is more like 100 days.
Wow.
But because we have some people that are like 2 years out, then that messes up the average. But the median on that is like 100 to 120 days. For pay-per-click leads, 630 days is our average nurture time from the time in which they first sign up and their forced registration until they close. 630 days, and 99% of businesses and people that are listening out here right now don't have a strategy of how to go after that on day 629 so that they can win. They're just concerned about that low-hanging fruit, and you're not milking that turnip for all that it's worth. And you can get to a 4 to 5% conversion rate on your pay-per-click leads with the right systems and setup.
So people are going to think that's insane because we've been drilled in our minds 1 to 2% pay-per-click conversion, the whole thing. Anybody who's a KW, that's the number that's in our mind, right? So
because then you stop, right? You get to 1 to 2%, then you stop.
Exactly. But here's a good segue. So people who want to learn how to do a couple things, right? Run their business like a business. They've heard us talk about working the sphere of influence like they should, structuring a team like I've never heard anybody structure one before, but also being able to increase conversions to double the industry average. Now you've obviously figured out some secrets, some tools, you have some strategies. You started your coaching company, Hatch Coaching. Great place for people to go to learn this stuff. Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. And we understand that everybody's at a different place in their business. And so if you need stuff for free, our YouTube channel is loaded with it, right? We have, I think, 80 or so videos that are just training on a lot of this stuff. And if you're looking for free content, we have it. We have things at $20 a month and $99 a month, all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars a month, just depending on how intimate and customized you want your plan. And so one of the best things, my partner, Robbie T, who is a guru of lead conversion, has built out within CRMs and other programs, essentially bolt-on technologies that take all these ISA conversion things and they're putting artificial intelligence behind it. And you can have our entire messaging plan and our entire ISA back end system that I've spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on. You can have all that as like a bolt-on in your CRM. If you so we're in Sierra Interactive right now. We launched in Follow Up Boss in February. We're in Ylopo. We're partnered with Structurally. So we have our hands in some cookie jars right now, and there's just an amazing way for you to enhance your business and work smarter, not harder. Because if you try to figure it out like Aaron has figured it out, dude, you spent millions to try to figure it out. Now you can just rip off and duplicate what we've had, and you can just get the plug and play. Because I think most of us want to be copypreneurs more than we want to be entrepreneurs. I'd rather just steal somebody else's great idea and let them do all the blood, sweat, and tears and reap the benefits of it.
Absolutely. Well, anybody out there listening, this man is speaking the truth. Go to hatchcoaching.com. That is where you're going to find a lot of secret ingredients to increasing your business and running it like a true business. Erik, I want to thank you, man, for being here today. I know your schedule is jam-packed. I know you're a busy man out there.
It's been a joy.
This has been great. I appreciate it. Anybody out there listening, they want to talk to you about Hatch Coaching, they want to talk to you about real estate, any of that stuff, how do people get a hold of you?
Yeah, you'll find everything at hatchcoaching.com. If you want to connect with us directly, if you want to buy my book, if you want to buy some of our services, if you just want the stuff for free, we have ways for you to get all that.
That's awesome. Hatchcoaching.com. Anybody wanting to connect with me regarding our podcast, regarding anything our team is doing, you can always find me online on Instagram. I'm at Aaron Ryan, and Ryan is spelled with an I. You can always contact my office, 503-343-1666. Erik, again, been a pleasure. Look forward to talking to you again, bud. Thank you.